How's it going, everybody? I'm Jason with the Review Suite. This is the Poco M3. It's not often that I talk about smartphones on this channel, but I do like to dabble in budget or low-cost Android devices from time to time. When I first learned about the Poco M3, there were a few things that really got my attention. 1, the screen size, 2, the Snapdragon processor, and 3, the price. For this video, we're going to talk about the good, the not so good, and why you may want to pick this phone up for yourself. The Poco M3 is a budget-friendly smartphone with respectable specs. The base model ships with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage. The highest spec Poco M3 comes with 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. Regardless of whichever configuration you choose, they will all be powered by the Snapdragon 662. The 662 is a mid-range chip, and it should be able to power all of your everyday smartphone needs. The Poco M3 also supports USB Type-C. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am so happy to see low-cost smartphones with USB Type-C. Now, this is USB 2.0, so no display out, but because it's Type-C, it does support fast charging. And while we're on the topic of charging, let's talk about this 6,000 milliamp hour battery. I've had the Poco M3 for about a week, and I can easily get through a day and a half on a single charge. I know battery performance goes down over time, but I am just amazed at how much battery life I have left after a full day. On top of its awesome battery life, the Poco M3 also supports reverse wired charging. So you can charge up a pair of earbuds or a secondary phone via the USB Type-C port. Nice to have, huh? In addition, you get a 3.5mm headphone jack, dual speakers, and an IR blaster. The display is an IPS LCD with a resolution of 1080 by 2340. It's not the brightest display, but for the price, I'm not going to complain. In the middle, you do have a teardrop design for that front-facing 8-megapixel camera, and under good lighting conditions, you can take some pretty good selfies. Now, on the back of the Poco M3, you have a 48-megapixel main camera, a 2-megapixel macro camera, and a 2-megapixel depth camera. Now again, under the right conditions, you can take pretty decent photo and video with the Poco M3. For the average person who wants to take some selfies or some video to post to social media, I think you'll be just fine with this phone. And if you are shooting video, you can go up to 1080p at 30 frames per second. So with all of the bases covered, I think we should definitely explore what else this phone is capable of. Now again, the Poco M3 has the Snapdragon 662. Now you're not getting flagship performance with the 662. However, if you're into retro emulation, the Poco M3 performs very well.
I must return fire!
So overall, I am very impressed and pleased with the Poco M3. If you are seeking a budget-friendly Android device with moderate specs for everyday use, I highly recommend the Poco M3. However, if you live in the US, I do want to give you a word of caution. For whatever reason, I cannot activate the Poco M3 here in the US on GSM networks. At least not on this model I have. It could be different for you, but just keep that in mind. Beyond that, the Poco M3 is a solid device. But that's going to do it for this video. If you want to pick up the Poco M3, affiliate links will be in the description box. If you have the Poco M3, let us know what you think about this phone. Do you love it? Do you hate it? And if you want to see more content just like this, subscribe to the Review Suite. I'm Jason, and I will see you in the next video.